I'm Renee Samuels. My project has a few names. It's called Face to Face, or Faces and Spaces, or Unmasked. And it's quite immediate in terms of what it's about. The fact that COVID is over and we're all talking to each other again and seeing each other's faces and each other's smiles and being able to communicate. I met Beth Humphrey, and she was talking about this as a project for people to do and apply for. So I went online and looked at it, and she and I talked some more, and I came to see the habitat inside a couple months ago when Michael was here and Beth. And I thought it'd be a great way to interact with the community a bit, because I tend to be at home. I work at home, or I've been going up actually to the Prattsville Art Center to paint lately with other people. But I just like the whole idea of the project, kind of a short residency. Art can be very heavy and serious, and especially the people who aren't artists, I wanted them to see something that was sort of joyful and moving in the wind, just some kind of animation about it. The idea that I'm working right next door to ArtPort Kingston is very inspirational, because it's a fantastic vaulted ceiling and amazing, really, contemporary art, which is so exciting, colorful and full of surprises and fun. And that's been very inspirational to me. So that's another inspiration, actually, is some of the art that I've seen lately. Because I'm a very somewhat of a staid person, quiet and sober to some extent, sometimes. But I think in my work I can be very, you get serious. But so I've been happy to see the kind of work that is here at ArtPort Kingston. And that's influenced the brighter color, maybe, and playful, these moving objects I have here. Yesterday morning when I came down very early and stood around the corner, cast my silhouette onto the white surface, and immediately I saw, I had this idea of outlining it. I brought my fat Sharpie, and so I made the outline of myself that I could see and that just provided immediately something to get my brushes out and use beautiful color on, because that's sort of just the art part. And then once I had people with me, I asked them to, either put their face right against the board, and then I took the marker and traced which just didn't work, it doesn't work perfectly because people's faces have a certain softness to them. So I like actually calling people to come over yesterday, and some people are like, okay. And one guy had kneeling down because that's where that shadow was, and I'm like, wait a minute, and I go inside, and he's just sitting there really polite, waiting for me to. It was very sweet. I think the face obviously communicates everything. There's body language, but I love to see eyes and smiles and the subtle movement of eyebrows. Yeah. And also a lot of these are silhouettes, so there's not exactly a portrait as much as the shape of the head and the infinite combinations of eyes, nose, brow, chin line. That's an interesting way of thinking about it in terms of shape and color and movement, how every single face is totally different. The thing that I think that I see and how I draw is to realize that a figure isn't in a vacuum. Nothing exists in a vacuum, and especially that what you see on your retina, and that's like a flat. It's not flat, but it's a surface. It's a two-dimensional. It's not a, So what you see is this like a screen on a screen in a way. So that translates to this, how does that space look when you put it on here? Part of what I'm thinking about is the space between, which can translate to a psychological thing as well. Just want to say thank you to the people who are running the HFA residency and to ArtPort Kingston for having me here. And I'd like to say, make art, not war. And I just hope everybody can be happy and enjoy the new freedoms that we have, and hopefully they won't be taken away from us anytime soon. Thank you.